Welcome back, everybody. You're with us here on Cape Rugby TV. It's nice to have you along. Of course, Jerome, before we were talking about or just before we went into the break, there's still a lot of action one or two more games still to happen at the bottom of the log in Super League B. We will take a look at those fixtures in a second, but let's just quickly take a look now at the top of the log in Super League B. There you can see, folks, SK Walmers, well, they have now played their 14 games and they're sitting at number 1. Primrose in second place. CPUT, All Saints, Hands and Hearts, and Belleville. All right, Jerome, so, of course, those are your teams now in the top 6. We know that this is locked down for Super League B. SK Walmers and Franschhoek come out on top. For SK Walmers, we will take a look at their second half. This is a well-deserved position. They've gone to show that they are a typical Super League A outfit as well. They've had a good season.
No, they've had a very good season. I think they only lost 1 game. So great season for them, and as you say, with their experience of playing in the Super League A, they'll probably want to win this competition, play in Super League A again.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also surprisingly, Franschhoek is doing well. We know what Franschhoek can do.
I was just about to ask you about Franschhoek. I mean, we've got to give credit to Franschhoek. They have really been doing well year in and year out, and I mean, look at those results there as well. They only lost 1 game this year and drew 1 more. Also secured their position in second spot in the log.
Yeah, so that's good for them, and it's strange. In the past, there was a big hype about Franschhoek, but this year it's just quietly winning games. Not a big fuss about them, and they just keep on winning.
The one team that I'd like to highlight here a little bit, I mean, is Collegians. Collegians sitting in 7 on the log. They really just missed out on position 6, and they've managed to do all of that by playing with no home games.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's been, I think it's the 2nd season that they've been doing it.
Yeah,
and for them to do that it's quite good, and still their supporters go wherever they have to play. They're there.
Yeah,
like they play all their games away. So it's good, and it's as you say, for a team like that, it's actually a pity that they're not higher up for what they've been going through.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think, folks, let's give a bit of a shout out there to Collegians, who ended in position 7 on the log for their performance this year. And of course, what Jerome and I are talking about is currently their fields, I believe, are not playable. And so Collegians has been playing away from home at visiting grounds during the course of the season. But let's take a look now at the second half highlights. SK Walmers, they travelled down to Primrose. This was typical derby match. folks. You're with us here with Cape Rugby TV, right, Jerome? Final thoughts then, of course, SK Walmers Primrose?
Yeah, look, good win for SK there, but Primrose didn't make it easy.
Yeah.
If you could see, like the last SK actually kicked for poles.
Yeah.
So it shows the competitiveness. They didn't go for touch or try to play and go score, so they had to take the points. That's how close the game was.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think that's because of the thinking of playing maybe towards the end of the season, a little bit more conservative, protecting the ball, or do you think it was weather?
Look, I think yes, the weather also, because that field wasn't really good for running rugby, which I must compliment both teams because of the handling. Not too many mistakes in handling with the wet ball. And playing it right, you can see they keep it with the forwards. They try to play it up in the middle, so they were trying to keep it tight, both teams. But great defense from both teams. I mean, Primrose defense, they never gave up. Any other team would have given up on a day like that. All
right, let's take a look at the results, the other results now in Super League B. It was a win for Collegians, 19-3 over Strand. Langa with a win over Vineyards. Kylemore with, they went out by 1 point to CPUT, 26 points to 25. And then SK Walmers, of course, beating Primrose 18-0. Right, folks, in Super League C, of course, Rangers with a win over Albions, and then Busy Bees 24-12 over Masipumalele. Folks, so Jerome, those Super League C logs also just starting to get a little bit closer now. If we take a look at the logs in Super League C, we also have our top 14 there. Van der Stel sitting at the top of the pile. They've also had a good season.
Yeah, no, Van der Stel is doing well. They've just lost one game, I think.
Yeah.
So they've been,
Okay, so, and then of course, folks, but just incidentally, big thank you to Fasich Toufi. Fasich Toufi, of course, from Primrose, or at least I think he's from Primrose, but from Spy Inc., for sending us the footage for the SK Walmers Primrose game. So big thanks to Primrose and SK Walmers and the team for sending their clips in. Of course, everybody wanted to see some of those highlights. So Fasich, to you and your team, thank you very much for that. Let's go back to the logs quickly, folks. This is your top 6 currently in Super League C. And it's Van der Stel at the top, Macassar, Hamadiers, Kraaifontein, Goodwood, and Busy Bees. So, of course, there's still some things to roll out there in terms of the top 6. Right, folks, well, of course, as you know, Decro Paints is on board with Cape Rugby TV, and every week we take a look at some of the Decro products and some handy tips for you. We're now out of the winter. Well, we thought we were out of the winter, but maybe the waterproofing scenario is not quite just finished yet, because we see there's still quite a bit of rain. But we now head into spring. So now's the time that you can start painting your walls, sorting out your cement, doing your waterproofing, sort out your roof, your tiles, or whatever it is that you need. Decro certainly has the right product for you. Here's a little highlights video. There we go, folks. You can visit Decro at www.decro.co.za. They've got pretty much everything you need. And don't forget, of course, that they've got a store at N1 City next to a game. And walk in there and they'll help you with your color selection. We'll be back after the break. We'll talk about what's happening this weekend. Back in a sec.